assembly elections. What do you think went wrong? Have you made an assessment? Have you been sitting together just to find out what went wrong?
Yeah, of course, and it's been 11 months. So of course we introspected, we had a lot of discussions internally. We've been meeting a lot of people, who are our well-wishers and not so well-wishers also. But I think one of the things where we went wrong, obviously, is आपको पहली बात तो ये समझना चाहिए कि 10 साल बाद कोई भी गवर्नमेंट के ऊपर थोड़ा एंटी इनकम्बेंसी तो आ ही जाता है. I think 10 years, there's a fatigue factor, firstly. And secondly, I think perception management is where we didn't do well. For instance, I'll give you 2 examples. One, unlike any other state in India, Telangana is the only state to have completed recruitment of 160,000 government jobs in the last 9 years, despite being a new state. But unfortunately, we could not, thank you now, but unfortunately, we could not communicate that to the youngsters fully well. So I think we lost them. And then Telangana is the only state which also gave a 73% enhancement to government employees in terms of their salaries. But unfortunately, we also lost them. So it's an interesting thing, I think there is that saying, you can increase success by lowering expectations. I think we set the bar too high. I think the expectation was too high. Probably, I think the perception management is one issue. And second issue, of course, like I said, is fatigue. But I don't think we have done anything terribly wrong. Even if you look at the numbers, Dibang, the winning party, that is Congress, got 64 seats. And the percentage of votes, if you look at it, it's about 38.9, I think. And what we got was 37% which is only a difference of 1.8. So it's not like we lost by a huge margin after 10 years. And if you look at union government as well, their numbers came down from 303 to 240. So even in our case, we came down by a bit, but I don't think it was a big loss because we lost 14 seats by a whisker. But it's a good new experience. So going through a new role, new experience, it's all learning.
How much credit would you give to Revant Reddy and the way he conducted his campaign, the way he fought the election?
See, Divang, I'll tell you what, without sounding like a sore opposition leader, I'll tell you this as a matter of fact. Elections in India are 90% about rejection and 10% about selection. Now, what do I mean? बहुत बार ये हो जाता है ना कि अगर आप और मैं दोनों लड़ रहे हैं इलेक्शन, आप 1-2 बार जीत चुके हो, फिर लोगों में अगर एक तनाव सा आ जाता है, एक फटीग सा आ जाता है, तो आपको हराने के लिए मुझे जिताते हैं. ऐसा नहीं है कि मुझ में कोई आस या मुझ में कोई नया चीज कुछ दिखा इसीलिए मुझे जिताया. बहुत कम, मतलब कम परसेंट इज अबाउट somebody else being elected, because Congress as a party is not new to Telangana. They've governed the state for more than 50 years. They've been given more than 11 opportunities. But I think what Congress has done very well, I have to give them credit where it's due. They could create a very imaginative campaign with their 6 guarantees. I think that captured the imagination of some people for sure. And I think people thought, KCR ने पानी दे दिया, KCR ने बिजली दे दिया, बाकी जो है वो तो हो गया, ऑटो पायलट मोड में चला गया, तो कुछ और ट्राई करते हैं, कुछ ज़्यादा मिलेगा हमें. 2000 अगर मुझे पेंशन मिल रहा है, 4000 कांग्रेस बोल रही है हम दे देंगे. So they thought maybe this is the time to change. So that's what I would say.
Personally, how do you read it, considering you were the IT minister, you were keeping a close eye on the numbers, on the ratings, and you completely misread it?
Well, these things happen, yeah, Divang. Life is not a zero-sum game. Every single experience, every single election is a great teacher. I mean, if you look at it, the way I think honestly, when we launched Telangana Rashtra Samiti back in 2001, the goal was simple, formation of the state. उसके लिए हम कुछ भी करेंगे. हमने इस हद तक बोल दिया कि कांग्रेस में अगर जरूरत पड़ा तो हमारी पार्टी को मर्ज कर देंगे. ये 2010, 11 और 14 की बात है. So our whole goal was formation of Telangana. What happened post that is, of course, Congress could not manage the proposal. So fortunately for us, we remained as an entity. 10 years of being in government and being given the chance to govern a beautiful state like Telangana, and making it the #1 state on number of sectors. Per capita income, in 2014, we were ranked 14th. By the time we relinquished office in 2023, we were ranked #1 in the country. Likewise, I can go on. There's a number of indicators. Agricultural expansion, IT sector, green cover. There's a number of achievements that I can very, very proudly say, are from my government. But the most important thing is you have to realize, I think in politics, there's always a chance that you will be thrown out, you will be given a new role. So in fact, if anything, I'm grateful to the people of Telangana for giving us 2 terms, eternally grateful. I'm not even saying this as a gesture, but eternally grateful. Now it's a new role, play the role of constructive opposition, hold the government accountable, make sure they don't do mistakes, make sure they deliver on the promises that they've made. So I think it's a great role. I'm enjoying my new role.
You know, people say that it was the arrogance of the ruling family. It was the family and extended family that came in play. And also allegations of...
Are you talking about Sonia Gandhi, Rahul Gandhi, and Priyanka? Or?
No, in your family. I'm talking about your family.
No, just making sure.
Yeah. And also with these 2 things, we have also seen that, you know, there were allegations of corruption. Have you, in your internal review, did you also consider these things, and do you find there's some truth in it, or it's all made up?
No, I'll tell you what. See, when you're self-assured, sometimes you come across as being cocky. When you're very self-assured, when you're confident, sometimes you do come across. और कुछ लोगों में एक मैन्युफैक्चरिंग डिफेक्ट भी होता है. तो मुझ में मैं थोड़ा सेल्फ अश्योर्डली बोलता हूँ, थोड़ा शायद मेरी बॉडी लैंग्वेज, बोलने का ढंग किसी को पसंद नहीं आया, तो क्या करें. आजकल एक फैशन हो गया दिबांग कि अगर मुझ में कोई कमियां ढूंढनी है, कमियां निकालनी है, तो लोग क्या करेंगे, पहले शुरू करेंगे कि आप फैमिली से हो, फिर बाद में बोलेंगे इस वजह से आप मिनिस्टर बने, फिर बोलेंगे कि आप पप्पू हो क्योंकि आप कुछ कर नहीं सकते. बट जब सब चीज गायब हो जाता है, व्हेन यू आर अ परफॉर्मिंग मिनिस्टर, इवन दो यू आर समबडीज सन, व्हेन यू हैव डन वेल इन योर जॉब, then what do they do? Then they'll start looking for the intangibles. They'll start saying you're arrogant, you're corrupt. Now let them prove. Where was I arrogant? कहाँ मैंने अपनी घमंड दिखाई, कहाँ मैंने किसी को मेरी घमंड से कुछ तकलीफ पहुंचाई, और कहाँ मेरी करप्शन की जो चार्जेस है जो आपने कहा अभी, कुछ अगर प्रूफ होता है तो बात बनती है. अगर आप ऐसे ही कुछ भी बोल दो और केस बना दो, आजकल हिंदुस्तान में तो फैशन हो गया विच हंटिंग ऑफ पॉलिटिशियंस. अगर आप बीजेपी के साथ हो तो कुछ नहीं होता आपको, ना ईडी आपके पास आएगी, ना आईटी आपके पास आएगी. पर अगर आप बीजेपी एनडीए के पास नहीं हो तो हर कोई आपके घर पे आ जाएगा. तो ये तो फैशन हो गया. पॉलिटिकल विच हंट has become a fashion. So what I would say is, like I said at the onset, I think what we did not do properly is perception management. When people were accusing us of being aloof, of being inaccessible, of being arrogant, I think we should have addressed it, shown by way of compassion, by way of action, by way of social media presence, by way of many other things, that we actually have listened, understood, and probably have also made some changes. Maybe that didn't come to the fore very clearly, but I do believe one thing very clearly, Divam. All these things, the short-term gains that people achieve by way of, fake propagandas and by way of, fooling around, I think essentially then people again, and the people of Telangana or the people of the country, when they sit back and start judging in terms of performance and in terms of governance, they will surely realize that our government performed better than any other government in India in the last 10 years, be it BJP or Congress. BRS government, I think, has outdone every other state in the country from 2014 till 2023. I think end of the day, that's what matters, if you ask me.
Yeah. Your father, KCR Saab, named his party TRS, called it BRS. National ambitions he had, national party he wanted to make. And then he lost the elections against somebody who started his politics with him. Revant Reddy I'm talking about. Is it a big shock for him? Is he out of that shock? He's not seen anywhere publicly? Is he, how is he?
He's fabulous. I think he's seen way too much life. He's seen way too much in life. I think to be shocked by anything. Trust me on this when I say this. He is a man whose nerves are made of steel. That man cannot be shaken. That man cannot be deterred by anything. I assure you of that. KCR is, no matter what anybody would like to believe. But मैं सवाल एक आपसे पूछना चाहता हूँ, और I think all the media से भी पूछना चाहता हूँ. सवाल आपको ये पूछना है कि ये नहीं पूछना है कि KCR कहाँ पे है. मैं पूछता हूँ, सवाल आपको ये करना चाहिए कांग्रेस से कि आपके 6 गारंटी कहां पे है. आपने कहा 100 दिन में हर चीज हो जाएगा, हथेली में आपने जन्नत दिखा दिया. क्या हुआ? कोई शौक, कोई धक्का केसीआर को नहीं लगा. मैं वादा करता हूं आपसे, मैं उम्मीद दिलाना चाहता हूं आपको, केसीआर इज प्लानिंग, KCR is thinking. KCR is worried about Telangana. KCR is definitely concerned, of course, about Telangana, because it was never the agenda that we have to be holding on to power by hook or crook. The agenda was always well-being of Telangana. The agenda was always making Telangana great and greatest probably in the entire country. We have done very well in 10 years, of course. Sometimes, like they say, fool me once, fool me twice. So therefore, I think people have been taken for a ride by Congress. I think people have already started realizing their mistake. Hopefully, they'll be given another chance in 3 years. Then you'll certainly see KCR in the top seat again.
Okay. Do you think as a strategy it was a mistake to concentrate too much on urban seats, urban areas, big farmers, not so much in the rural areas, because those are the seats you lost. You did quite well in the urban centers.
No, we swept urban. In fact, Hyderabad and GHMC, Congress did not even win one seat. We won the entire GHMC area thanks to people of Hyderabad for voting for development, for voting for progress. I think they have done exceptionally well. Now in the rural areas, I think what has happened is, like I was telling you, I think the farmers, despite receiving some tremendous support, in fact some pioneering and flagship schemes which are hitherto unknown and unheard of in entire independent India, like Raitu Bandhu, first time in the world, farm input scheme has been launched. 73,000 crores of rupees have been dispersed towards 72 lakh farmers. But I think farmers, when they were told that KCR is only giving you 10,000, Congress will give you 15,000, they were a bit, I think, attracted. Likewise, when the couple, the people who are senior citizens, earlier before 2014, the pension in Telangana was 200 rupees per month. After KCR came in, it became 2,000. It was raised by 10 times. But when Congress said, we'll double it, almost like an auction, I think people were lured, people were attracted. So these are the few things that happen in rural areas. But in Hyderabad, I think we did really well. The strategy was not wrong. In fact, if you ask me, I think if you have to define KCR government in a few words, I'd say it was integrated, holistic, and inclusive development that we saw in the last 10 years, which included rural, urban, which included, I think, agriculture and IT. It was a fine balance between industry and environment. I can go on. I have a number of statistics to back them up with. It was a great vision and a great outcome. But I think 1.8% is the difference. If you look at the total votes, polled votes, the difference was 4 lakhs. So I don't think we've done badly, Divan. I don't think we should say that we've lost in the rural areas for lack of strategy or something.
Yours began as an agitational politics, then you came to power. We saw the same thing in Assam once, when AGP came to power. Somehow these parties run out of steam. They are basically good parties for agitations. Once they come to power, somehow they become arrogant, they become difficult, they lose touch with the people. Have you thought about that? Well,
I think you're being selective in terms of picking the parties. I think Congress also started as a party which was agitating for independent India. Grand old parties, they're still around. They haven't lost any steam from what I see. So therefore, what I would say is, Assam Gana Parishad is a different example. Jharkhand Mukti Morcha is a very different example. TRS is a different example. The leadership styles are different. The people are different. If you look at, Tamil parties, both DMK and Anna DMK, they're the ones who are ruling the roost. I can assure you of one thing. In South India, I can assure you of one thing. Be it Tamil Nadu, be it Karnataka, be it Telangana, be it Andhra, or Kerala for that matter, I think regional parties are here to stay. We are not going anywhere. We have completed 24 years, and I assure you, we'll be around for a long, long time, and we'll be talking more often in days to come as well.
What is the revival plan? Is there any revival plan that you're working on? Would you like to talk about it? Say something about it?
भाई हमें इतना बड़ा धक्का भी नहीं लगा. एक इलेक्शन हारे बस उतना ही है. एक इलेक्शन हार गए. जीतेंगे. इलेक्शन में हार जीत होते रहती है. When you go into an election, there are only two outcomes. Either you win, you lose. You lose, you fight back. You lose, you go back to people, figure out what went wrong, figure out what strategies you had to pull out, probably which didn't work. So therefore, I don't think इतना बड़ा धक्का भी, इतना बड़ा झटका भी कोई नहीं लगा कि हम लोग रिवाइवल की बात करें. मैं तो बस इतना ही कहूंगा कि जो हम लोग काम करते आए 10 साल, हमने ज्यादा फोकस शायद एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन पे दिया. पार्टी को निर्माण या पार्टी कमिटीज, I think party leaders and how well we had to, because see, essentially the work done by the government has to be relayed to the people through the party cadre. Maybe we didn't do that as well as we should have. So there are so many things that I can reel out, but I can tell you one thing. Party leadership has been groomed in the last 24 years by KCR. The second leadership is good, and then we also have leadership in every nook and corner of Telangana. We are the principal opposition in Telangana today, and I assure you, we are giving both national parties a run for their money, both BJP and Congress in the state of Telangana, and you will see this in days to come when local body polls will happen, even when national elections will happen.
How do you see the fact that 10 of your MLAs have now joined the Congress party?
आयाराम गयाराम करके एक कल्चर इस हिंदुस्तान में लाने वाली पार्टी है कांग्रेस. इंदिरा जी जब थी हरियाणा में, आई थिंक गयाराम जी उनका नाम था, वो पहले आए थे फिर गए थे. आयाराम गयाराम वाली कल्चर लाई देश में कांग्रेस. तो मुझे कोई सरप्राइज नहीं है. आजकल क्या हो गया कि आप देखो हर जगह, गोवा में, कर्नाटक में, आई थिंक मध्य प्रदेश में, कई सारे जगह आयाराम गयाराम कल्चर आज आ गया. आजकल पॉलिटिक्स भी शॉर्ट साइटेड हो गया. तो 10 लोग हमारे चले गए, बट वहां पे हर जगह 10 कॉन्स्टिट्यूएंसी में हमारे काफी सारे युवा लीडर हैं जो बहुत उत्सुक है कि हमें मौका दीजिए, हम जीत के आएंगे, तो फिर नया लीडरशिप खड़ा कर देंगे, उसमें कोई तकलीफ नहीं.
But you also crushed the opposition.
Of
You
course.
were also undemocratic in the sense that you went after the opposition. वो भी एक दौर था. I think no harm admitting it now. अब तो हो गया ये.
नहीं, बात वो नहीं है. हमने जो किया और आज जो हो रहा है उसमें फर्क है. फर्क ये है कि हमने जो किया वो कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनली अलाउड मर्जर है. लेजिस्लेचर पार्टी में अगर 2/3 लोग ये मान के चलते हैं कि मुझे दूसरे पार्टी के साथ चलना है, वो मर्जर है. दैट्स कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनली अलाउड. बट इन दिस केस दीज आर डिफेक्शंस. सो अगर डिफेक्शन है तो एंटी डिफेक्शन लॉ भी है, जो आज कांग्रेस अमल नहीं करना चाहती. और सबसे मजे की बात तो यह है दिबांग जी, जो राहुल गांधी आज के लीडर ऑफ ऑपोजिशन है, वहां दिल्ली में तो संविधान को दिखा के बहुत बात करते रहते हैं, ऐसे पोज करते हैं कि संविधान के रक्षक हैं. पर यहां पे जब संविधान की हत्या की जाती है, 10 लोगों को आज कांग्रेस में जबरदस्ती शामिल की जाती है और डिफेक्शन लॉ तक लागू नहीं होता, राहुल जी बिल्कुल खामोश हो जाते हैं. जब उनके पार्टी के साथ ये होता है तो बहुत शोर शराबा करते हैं, गला फाड़ फाड़ के बोलते हैं. पर यहां पे जब कांग्रेस वही चीज करती है तो राहुल जी बिल्कुल चुप हो जाते हैं.
Weren't there cases against the opposition members, assemblymen, MLAs, MLCs by your party when you were ruling?
I'm sorry, say that again.
Weren't there cases against the opposition members when you were in power? You lodged cases against members. I think Revant Reddy, there are more than 100 cases.
No, Revant was caught with 50 lakh rupees in a bag, yeah. Was trying to purchase MLAs. You don't want us to file a case on that? ये कहाँ की रीत है यार? जब आदमी कोई चोर पकड़ा जाता है खुलेआम, तो उसको चोर ही बुलाएंगे और क्या बुलाएंगे? तो केस बना तो बना, अब चोर को नहीं पकड़ना, ये आप बोलेंगे क्या मेरे साथ?
मतलब कोई जाति नहीं हुई?
क्या चीज?
कोई जाति नहीं हुई, कोई जबरदस्ती नहीं हुई, कोई जबरदस्ती you didn't
जबरदस्ती तो उन्होंने
go
किया.
after.
नहीं, अगर मैं आपको 50 लाख का रिश्वत दे के मैं आपको खरीदना चाहता हूं, आप मुझ पे तो केस करोगे ना कि ये गलत हो रहा है. तो मैंने वही किया, हमने वही किया, उसमें क्या गलती है?
About the cases against you, आपके जो
यार मेरे पे तो कोई केस नहीं है.
आप पर जो केसेस हैं, फोन टॉपिक, मैं आपके पिताजी की बात, फोन टैपिंग वाला मामला है,
कोई केस नहीं.
क्या
तो बकवास
उसको लेकर कोई चिंता है? फोन टैपिंग वाले पर क्या उस पर कुछ हो सकता है?
Let me tell you one thing. Revant Reddy government and Congress government, they are a disaster in the state. 100 दिन में उन्होंने हथेली में जन्नत दिखा दिया, बोला कि 100 दिन में हम लोग छू मंतर कर देंगे और हर किसी को रईस बना देंगे. क्या हो गया? 100 दिन नहीं, आज तो 300 दिन हो गया. अब अगर हम पूछते हैं उनसे कि भाई क्या हो गया तुम्हारा 6 गारंटी, आपकी एक पिक्चर थी हाफ गर्लफ्रेंड, अब रेवंत रेड्डी का भी हालत वही है, हाफ गारंटी हो गया, 6 गारंटी हाफ गारंटी हो गया. तो इसलिए मैं कहता हूं, टू फूल अराउंड, टू डिस्ट्रैक्ट, टू डाइवर्ट, क्या कर रहे हैं आजकल? एक चला दिया, क्या चीज? सोशल मीडिया में कैंपेन, टैपिंग हो गया, कलेश्वरम में स्कैम हो गया, फलाना हो गया, ठिकाना हो गया. अरे यार तुम्हारे पास सबूत है तो लगाओ ना केस, कौन रोक रहा है तुम्हें? तुम गवर्नमेंट में हो, लगाओ. मैं पूछना चाहता हूं दिबांग जी, आज रेवंत से पूछना चाहता हूं, और अगर रेवंत में दम है तो हिम्मत है तो आगे आके सवाल का जवाब दे. आज रेवंत रेड्डी की गवर्नमेंट उनकी खुद की मिनिस्टरों की और मेरी फोन टैप कर रही है, नहीं कर रही है, उन्हें बताने को कह दीजिएगा. आज रेवंत रेड्डी गवर्नमेंट इस राज्य में, तेलंगाना में, किस की फोन टैप कर रही है ऑपोजिशन में, गवर्नमेंट में, मैं भी जानता हूं, वो भी जानते हैं. मैं एक ही बात कहना चाहता हूं, कल हमारी गवर्नमेंट आएगी 3 साल बाद. आज जो हंसी मजाक के जरिए वो काम कर रहे हैं टैपिंग को लेके, ये उनके गले भी पड़ेगा, ये पक्की बात है। और दूसरी बात मैं करना चाहता हूं, ऑपोजिशन में होके शोर शराबा मचाना, ऑपोजिशन में होके कुछ एक्यूजेशन, वाइल्ड एक्यूजेशन करना, वो एक तरीका है टू अट्रैक्ट अटेंशन, टू ड्रॉ अटेंशन। बट चीफ मिनिस्टर बनने के बाद हर दिन वही बकवास, वही बेवकूफ बातें, ये कहां की रीत है? ये गलत है। आप चीफ मिनिस्टर हो, चीफ मिनिस्टर नहीं, तो ढंग का बात करो, हर जगह जहां जाते हो ठीक बात करो। अगर आपके बातों में दम है तो केस लगाओ, कौन रोक रहा है आपको? बिल्कुल लगाइए, वील फेस वॉट एवर कॉन्सिक्वेंसेज देर आर।
Okay, whenever I meet the Chief Minister, Revanth Reddy, I'll ask him this question. But now that you're here, I'm asking you, did you tap the phones of opposition
बिल्कुल
leaders?
नहीं किया। मैंने एक और बात भी मुझे कहना है, गवर्नमेंट एन इंस्टीट्यूशन, गवर्नमेंट इज एन इंस्टीट्यूशन, देयर आर न्यूमरस डिपार्टमेंट्स, एंड इंटेलिजेंस गैदरिंग इज ऑल्सो एन इंपॉर्टेंट इंस्टीट्यूशन दैट इज लेफ्ट to well-trained individuals, well-trained cops who are extremely good at, various tools of intelligence gathering, which has been happening since Nehruji's time, also continues in Narendra Modi's time, has been happening in Andhra Pradesh since 1956, continues today in Revanth Reddy's time also. So the question that you are asking, ki surveillance, tapping, etc., all I'm saying is there are professionals. There are professional agencies within the government which gather information. Now, how do they do it? The governments are not privy to it.
Intelligence gathering is fine. I'm asking you a straight question. Did you tap the phones of
Absolutely
opposition
not,
leaders?
but I'm asking you another question. Ask Revanth Reddy.
It's my day to ask the questions.
आप दिबंग हो, मैं दबंग हूं, मैं भी बोलूंगा, ठीक है? तो मैं यही बोलूंगा कि रेवंत रेड्डी जी आज उनके खुद के मिनिस्टर्स के, खुद के एमएलएस के और खुद ऑपोजिशन लीडर्स के फोन टैप कर रहे हैं। मैं आरोप लगा रहा हूं, आप उनसे पूछिए। मैं एक चीज आपको आज कहता हूं, मैं यहीं पे बैठूंगा, अगर आप यहीं पे हो कल तक, मैं यहीं पे बैठूंगा। लाई डिटेक्टर ला दीजिए, रेवंत को भी बुलाइए, मुझे भी बुलाइए, मैं लाई डिटेक्टर टेस्ट लूंगा खुलेआम लाइव कि हमने कभी फोन टैप नहीं किया। रेवंत को भी करने को बोलिए, मैं मान जाता हूं।
पर आप सीधा जवाब नहीं दे रहे हैं कि आप लोगों ने टैप किया कि नहीं किया।
बिल्कुल दे रहा हूं यार, हमने किया नहीं, इसीलिए तो कह रहा हूं। इंफॉर्मेशन जो हमारे पास आती है जब गवर्नमेंट चलाते हो, सरकार चलाते हो, वो कहां से गैदर, कौन कैसे करता है, इसमें हमारी कोई भागीदारी नहीं होती। इसी हद तक मैं कहूंगा। और मैं कह रहा हूं कि रेवंत रेड्डी गवर्नमेंट, मैं आरोप लगा रहा हूं, दे आर टैपिंग फोन्स। आई एम सेइंग आई एम willing to take a lie detector test in front of camera, live TV. What more do you want me to say?
Okay. When we look towards South India from Delhi, we find two chief ministers, Stalin Saab and Chandrababu Naidu Saab, asking people to have more children. And it's connected to the aging population. It's also connected to delimitation. What is the view of BRS on this?
Well, I'll tell you one thing. See, population degrowth in the south is a reality because family planning was a bigger success in south than in the north of India. But the question that one needs to ask, before saying that have more kids and our population is going going down, etc., Telangana's fertility rate is subject to correction is around 1.7. So the question that one needs to ask is, why are people not having more kids? That's the question that chief ministers, governments need to think of. What has happened, Dibang, is, I think in our country, because our infrastructure, our educational facilities, our Medicare facilities today have become so expensive that middle class doesn't want to have more kids. That is what is deterring from people from having more kids. For working women, the environment is not conducive to have more children because there are not enough support systems in place which encourage working women to have more children. So there are no creches at workplaces, there are no there are no nursery facilities, etc., etc. So before we say that please have more kids, population kam ho raha, etc., I think we need to answer some basic questions. You're not able to take up the existing population. Infrastructure is crumbling in Bangalore, Chennai, Hyderabad. Every urban metropolis, traffic is a nightmare. And now you want more children, more cars, more. What I'm saying is very simple. Governments, before they start making all these statements, need to introspect why people are actually not wanting to have more children. So therefore, and also I feel, I think it's a personal choice. Having a child or no is a personal choice, and I think that choice rests mostly with women, who actually has a uterus. So therefore, my point is, I think we need to ensure for the existing population, provide the best possible facilities. Delimitation is a separate issue. You can't solve it by having children right now. So therefore, what I would say is, let us fight together in Parliament as South, that our voice and our representation does not go down because of our success in family planning. Let us fight with Modi ji and tell him कि उत्तर प्रदेश में आप सीट बढ़ा देंगे क्योंकि आपका पार्टी वहां पे स्ट्रांग है, और साउथ में आप घटा देंगे क्योंकि यहां पे आपका पार्टी स्ट्रांग नहीं है. ये गलत बात है, क्योंकि आप यू आर penalizing and you're disincentivizing those people who have actually followed government's advice back in 1980s and 70s. So therefore the immediate solution, instant gratification, Stalin ji, Chandrababu ji जो भी कहेंगे, instant solution तो मिलने वाला नहीं है. Governments need to address this long term and medium term.
ये बताइए कि what is your plan as far as your party is concerned? What do you want to do in future to regenerate the party, rejuvenate the party, rejuvenate your workers?
मैं तो ये मानता हूं दिवान जी कि Telangana's sole voice, because you know this is a party. You said agitation वाले पार्टी और एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन. मुझे अच्छी तरह से याद है, एक बार मैं अरुण जेटली जी से मिलने गया था 2016 में. उन्होंने एक बहुत जबरदस्त बात कही थी, वो आज तक मेरे मन में ताजा है. उन्होंने कहा कि आई हैव सीन मेनी एजिटेटर्स, आई हैव आल्सो सीन मेनी एडमिनिस्ट्रेटर्स. He said, and some agitators are really good and administrators are also really good. He said, your state is lucky that you have in one man the qualities of a great agitator and a great administrator, that is KCR. So I would like to believe that my party's future is going to be brilliant, because I think as long as Telangana is there, people are not going to forget KCR. KCR and people of Telangana have a special love story. Now, his deputies, his people like us, his secondary leadership like us, I think people may not like us so much. Maybe we need to change a bit more. But I think KCR ji is going to be around for a long time. And Telangana is in the safe hands of TRS, BRS now. And we'll continue to fight back. And you will see us in 2028 sitting right here and answering questions on behalf of Telangana government.
What are the challenges that you see for BRS in the coming years?
Well, first thing, I think today's government here in Congress has lost its marbles, because they're filing cases even on kids who post in social media. यार पता नहीं राहुल जी वहां पे तो बड़े बड़े लंबे लंबे भाषण देते रहते हैं ऊपर कि डेमोक्रेसी, मोहब्बत की दुकान, पर यहाँ पे तो बहुत जबरदस्ती हो रही है हमारे वर्कर के साथ. पहली बात तो हमारे लिए बिगेस्ट चैलेंज ये है कि कांग्रेस की गुंडागर्दी से, कांग्रेस की बुलडोजर राज से यहाँ गरीबों को कैसे बचाना है, हमारी पार्टी के काडर को कैसे बचाना है, ये हमारी पहली रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी है. और दूसरी रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी हमारी ये है, हाउ डू आई मेक श्योर दैट वी विन द कॉन्फिडेंस ऑफ द पीपल बैक. सो देयरफॉर वी हैव टू इंट्रोस्पेक्ट, डिग डीप, see where course corrections have to be made, and I'm very confident that as long as we are going to make the right kind of noises and right kind of moves, we will bounce back.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for answering all the questions straight. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I now call upon Mr. Shankar Ramchandran, CEO, Money Retail Private Limited, to kindly come up onto the stage and felicitate KTR, sir.
ఎగ్జిట్ వస్తుంది మరి కేసీఆర్.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
ఇప్పుడు రేవంత్ రెడ్డి ఒక